was that? What? What's that sound? Where? It's aliens and they're living in your town. Damn. They have arrived. What? They're all around. So many aliens living in your town.
What up, weirdos out there in Weirdo Land? It is the Weird and Whatever podcast, and I want to get right into it. Holy shit, Vicky. Ghosts galore. When you walked in today, that's the main question people keep asking. When you walk in, do you immediately feel something, or do you have to do Jason has to say, Vicky, can you do a walkthrough?
No, Jason has to sit still because when I walked in, you were cleaning. So that distracted me. So I wouldn't have picked up on the ghost because I was watching you clean.
Would a vacuum distract a ghost or repel a ghost or attract a ghost?
I guess it depends on how they felt about a vacuum when they were alive. So.
I guess my question would be...
But no, I don't walk into a place automatically trying to feel what's going on.
No, exactly. And I would probably preface this by saying, Vicky, would you please do a walkthrough? And right. I kind of wanted you to do a walkthrough today, but it didn't happen. Yeah. But did you get any kind of energy at all because you were not prepared?
Because I wasn't focusing. Like, I consider it me being blessed that I'm not always on, that I'm only on when I need to turn on.
Huh. What's that like?
Selective turn on.
You get to
Beckett, feelings, intuitions, gut.
I felt some BDE when I walked in the room.
What is that?
BDE? You know what BDE is.
Big dick energy?
Yeah.
That's why I'm asking why. Oh, that's good. He's backing away from the microphone.
Yeah, I've learned. Even I can learn.
What do you mean BDE? Are you just making jokes?
Got 3 studs in here.
Do you? But real talk. Do you ever feel anything in here? Being the guy that was the one. I don't believe in anything. I don't believe in aliens, ghosts, and then all of a sudden you kind of turn into a bitch and believe in everything.
Right. Well,
wow.
I'm careful for sure, and I've definitely opened my mind. But as I've admitted in the past, I just don't think I have my tuners open to it. I think that I am pretty good at reading a room for people energy. It's one of the things I do in my job and in sales and dealing with people all the time. Like, I can feel when someone's down. Like, if you had a great day and ready to rip after it, like, I can pick up on that. I would argue, humbly speaking, better than anyone. Like, in terms of people or reading the room, so to speak, like, in general. But as it relates to spirits, I just think that, you know, it could be right in front of me and I wouldn't know because I'm just turned off to it.
So let me ask you this, Vicky. The person that's able to pick up on a personality or a mood, are they someone that has psychic abilities or are they just someone that has self-awareness?
They're empaths. So if you can walk in and you can feel the energy from the living people and measure emotions and stuff like that, you're an empath.
But is that just...
That's an ability. That's one of the abilities that if you look up psychic abilities, being an empath is one of them.
To push back, is that just a fancy way of saying, dude, yeah, the person's sad clearly. Most people could read a room, and the ones that can't are the loud majority or minority?
A lot of times people who can't read a room are so into themselves that they're not bothering to look around them. But some people give off that sad energy, but outwardly, listen, we got a lot of people that smile through the pain and smile through the sadness. So a real empath would be able to know that that is just a facade.
It's been a problem in dating. You know, I think I made this joke before. My mom tells her friends, well, you know, my son Ryan, whether it's a boat, house, car, or woman, Ryan likes projects. And my priest that was in charge, or, you know, our guidance counselor at Pope John Paul in high school down in Boca, you know, he was, you know, catching up with my mom, giving my mom kind of like a progress report. And, you know, he gave me a compliment. I think it was a compliment. And he said, you know, what I've noticed about Ryan is someone that's going through a tough time, Ryan tends to naturally gravitate towards them. And he's like, Ryan's been spending a lot of time with me lately. Now I'm kind of worried about myself. You know?
About his project.
I never really, even to this day, necessarily realized it at the time in real time. But if I retrospectively look at it, I think I'm a fixer to a fault, probably. And I feel like I just subconsciously kind of pick up on that, maybe.
Well, my boy Billy Joel says a mood doesn't last forever. And I agree with that. But I think sometimes we can kind of get stuck in a mood. Oh, yeah. And I call them emotional storms.
Oh, storms are brewing.
Well, just I feel like sometimes there's just thunderstorms in your life and you have to figure out a way to navigate them without being an insane person. And what do y'all do to when there's storms in your life and you still have to keep the strong front of a boat, so to speak? What do you do to make that happen so you don't look crazy or where you tuck your crazy in?
I have to have alone time to be able to put on a show. So I couldn't do it like all day. I'd have to have time where I went into a corner someplace and regrouped.
I
you
mean,
know?
it's
'Cause I can't do it all day.
It's such words are so truer, Denny's.
Oh, I'm the same way. Even when we used to do a lot of cocktails and karaoke and such, I would just need 2 hours to myself before,
It's
and then I would need like
exhausting.
2 hours to myself after.
Well, because you want to be cool with everybody, and then you go, was I cool with everybody? Did I not give that person enough time?
the
Was
whole
I-
time you think
Was I an
back.
asshole? If you care about emotions, I think sometimes being an empath can be exhausting. And I guess my question to the Ask Vicky segment is, if you are a person that does feel a room, I'm one of those people. If you walk into my house, Vicky, I can already tell if you're in a good mood or bad mood instantly. And I feel like you can do the same thing with me. I can tell with Beckett just looking at his demeanor. Now, does that mean I have this super crazy power, or am I just a person that understands my friends?
Well, I think you understand the energy. You're reading the energy. The problem where an empath comes in their lives is if they can't distinguish whether it's your energy they're feeling or their own.
Gotcha.
And I've talked to empaths that didn't realize that that's what they were. And growing up, they were said, "Oh, you're just a crybaby. You need to grow up. You need to stop being so sensitive." They can't stop being so sensitive. They're empaths. But you do have to learn to put up a wall and only allow those things to filter in how you can handle them.
1,000% agree. I think the main thing, and it's hard to do, is looking at the cards you've been dealt with and being honest with yourself.
Yeah.
It took me a very long time to admit to myself, bitch, you an oversensitive motherfucker, and you gotta tailor your emotions and not, you gotta tuck in your crazy. So I think it's a struggle for people who do tend to feel very hard, but they also don't want to be called a bitch, because I don't want to be called a bitch, but I do feel very hard.
Right. And that's a balance. And honestly, I think being an empath is one of the most difficult gifts to have, because you can get overwhelmed, you can get bombarded, and you can get confused, because you can take on someone else's depression. And if you're not really good at distinguishing, you're going to think, oh my gosh, I'm depressed. No, you're picking up on the other person's.
Denny, we've got, comments of confusion, bewilderment, depression, thoughts, opinions.
Being an empath reminds me of the Bruce Almighty when he starts hearing all the voices and he's just like, oh, shut up, and he hits yes to everybody.
It's like, get the fuck away from me.
I feel if you were a psychic or a person who absorbed people's emotions or thoughts or whatever it be, that would be so tough to deal with, especially if you didn't know how to handle it.
It is.
I kind of feel like, and I always bring it up, I always make this reference, and I know 90% of our audience doesn't know what I'm talking about, but Cobra Kai Season 4, balance. Mm-hmm. I think balance is a thing where meditation, and when I say meditation, I mean whatever that is for you. Whatever.
It could be reading a book, probably. Something
Denny's-
that takes you out of your current mind state.
Masturbation.
Masturbation,
whatever
possibly.
gets you calm, cool, collected, and maybe the best version of yourself, no matter what point you are at. I feel like you do meditate at times, Denny's, but you do it in a non-conventional way.
Yeah, I mean, there's multiple ways of doing it. A lot of people use their time in meditation of quieting their mind to visualize things they want. I think the main goal of meditation overall is just to quiet your mind. So, I mean, whatever you're using it for, I think there's a lot of benefits to not filling it with anything and just letting it be blank.
Yeah, I think everybody has to figure out, again, to self-awareness, what the meditation works for them. It could be Vicky meditating in a quiet room with in the background.
The traditional...
With incense, or it could be a Beckett doing a beach walking meditation. But whatever grounds you to kind of...
It could be a walk. If you took a walk every day for 30 minutes or just around your neighborhood, you're in a meditative state. You're in a, I mean, especially if you got music going, especially if you got wordless music. It's just,
mine is swimming laps.
Oh, there's another example.
Because being in sales and my job and everything, you know, I'm on my phone all the time. And when you get in the pool, you're cadence breath. You're elongating your muscles. You have a rhythm that you're doing. You can't have your phone. You know, unless you have some fancy underwater headphones, you're not listening to music or a book, and you're just in the swish of the water and your cadence and your breath. And for someone like me that has a busy mind, it allows me to actively meditate, if that makes sense.
Denny's, would you say you have a busy mind?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that's why I like marijuana. Like, I know for some people, everybody probably has their own effects or whatever it does to you, but I would say I'm a little bit on the high-strung side.
Really?
Yeah.
It's crazy because you do not at all come off like that, and it's amazing that you're able to tuck in your own Denny's crazy.
Yeah, I'm a little high-strung. I worry about stuff, but I think, you know, especially if I'm done with work for the day, it really does take all those extremity thoughts away.
Do you feel having a son or having a kid makes you not think about the outside things that you normally would have, and you go, all right, I get that I have to do a career. I get that I got to make some money, but I'm also, I got to raise a kid. Doesn't it kind of change?
It does.
The goal line?
It does. It changes a lot of your perspective. I think in a good way. I think if you don't have it in your life, you're just as well off if you do. I think it's just a different change that I think is very positive, but it doesn't need to be experienced to fulfill the experience.
I'm glad you bring that up because a big thing people always say to me, Jay Bird, you need a kid. You have missed out on your opportunity. You're going to be 47 in like 5 days.
Yeah, coming up.
I mean, I'm 47 years old. At this point, I don't know if I want a kid. At one point, I did. But I'm aching. I'm tired to have a kid at 47. Unless you have millions and millions of dollars, that's a tough game to play.
Definitely.
And I just feel like it changes so much. But everyone says, well, you don't know because you don't know, and you're gonna get this bliss. You're going over here saying, for a Jaybird, you can go to the urn, not have a kid, and still be fulfilled.
Yeah, well, think about if you never drank alcohol or you never, smoked weed or whatever. You've never had that experience. You're just as well off not having that experience. It's not going to hurt you or help you. But if you do have the experience, now you have another perspective.
Vicky, I'm interested in hearing your perspective because you have kids and we're homies, we're friends, and you know how I roll. I would love a kid, but I also could, like Denny's, I think I could go to the urn without a kid. So I'm kind of in a weird place going, right. I'm spiritually confused, so to speak.
Well, I'm at the point where my kids are all adults, and now I'm to the point where a lot of my friends, they're grandparents. I'm not. I have a grand cat and 2 grand dogs. That's it. I'm fine with that. So I am at the point where I'm like, I am perfectly fine if I don't have grandchildren. And I know that sounds horrible to some people, but, I'd be perfectly fine without a grandchild.
I think we're kind of getting in the time period of where people can give their opinion and go, fuck you if you don't agree with it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, you're saying, I don't want grandkids. I think we're at a time point where we go, you can say how you feel, and you're going to get a lot of people who echo your opinion.
Yeah. And the thing is, I work with children, so it's not like I am not exposed to children on a daily basis. Like, I'm on kid overload.
Yeah.
So that may be part of why I don't feel this need to have grandchildren. Plus, I don't want anybody calling me grandma. Right.
Yeah, and they're going to get brought to your house a lot anytime they want to go do stuff.
That's the bottom line.
Well, as soon as someone says grandma, we all immediately think
a grandma.
Well, GPH. Great pubic hair. Great pubic hair. Great pubic hair.
Silver fox. I like
Yeah.
it. Silver fox.
Silver vixen.
Now, let me ask you this. Does silver fox still go under the umbrella of gray pubic hair? Is that do girls go, oh my gosh, I was blowing him and he had the most distinguished pubic hair. It was amazing. He's really
I think he's still Manscaped. To,
Yeah,
the,
I think-
to the urn.
I think you would manscape, but I don't.
Kill the urn. I love it.
I don't think it looks weird. I wouldn't think it would.
Yeah, I to Beckett's point, I think you got to know your partner. Hey, look, if your partner wants a crazy bush and they love to get down with the gray and the
Yeah. I don't think you can. Can you comb in like a touch
Oh,
of?
yeah, you can just for men.
Really, just for men on the
Sure, without a
pubes?
doubt. Why not?
Really?
I think that was.
I don't know, man. That's got ammonia in it.
I
or
feel
whatever.
that's gonna give you DBs.
No,
No, that's gonna give you DBs.
no,
Dick bumps.
no.
Yeah, he's right.
At least you have something to blame it on.
Okay.
You're gonna get chemical burns.
As anybody listening ever dyed their pubic hair, please tell your story. I want to hear it. Email it. Send a voice memo. What all the
Just for pubes.
Just for pubes. It's great. I love it. Vicky, did you have another Ask Vicky question that you wanted to get kind of attack? I know you had sent it to me. Anything else you want to kind of touch on?
Yeah, I thought I would bring up because there's a lot of people that have reached out and they're very curious about like different types of things that they see on these shows. And one of them is automatic writing. And so somebody had asked me, like, what is it? Is it dangerous? Is it something you can dabble in? I personally have never done automatic writing. It's basically letting a spirit take over your body.
Oh.
And you're going to kind of zone out, and you're going to have a pencil in your hand. You're going to have paper in front of you, and then your arm just starts going because supposedly the spirits are controlling it. I don't want any spirit controlling my body.
I thought that was called ghostwriting.
Let it hang. let the uncomfortableness hang.
Let the awkwardness begin.
It's how we learn.
That's how we get better, stronger, faster.
I love it. Take as many chances as you want on this podcast because we don't get paid shit for this fucking thing. So
I like giving extra space for my.
I
jokes.
love it. We're doing volunteer work.
I like it.
Anytime I get a complaint, I have an auto reply. It's free, motherfucker. Anything else, Vicky?
No, I do have to comment on the short that you posted on YouTube earlier about your alien avenue.
Oh, yes.
What? Oh, yeah, please.
Yeah.
If you guys really do care about us, which I think the people that listen to this program do, please, if you don't mind, we got so many eyeballs watching us right now. Comment. Even if you think it's shitty, just comment and like or dislike or just get some interaction there. I'm only asking because
Yeah, we like the hate.
Yeah, I'm asking because we need stimulation. Not to get sexual, Beckett, but we really
need
do.
engagement in your life.
We need engagement.
And a kid.
And this podcast does not get a lot of respect, and it deserves respect. And I'm fucking kind of over it, to be quite honest with you.
I like it. I like it.
Well,
Good.
the beginning, Denny's showing the beginning. I have to say that's the best laugh I have had in a really long time. The very beginning of it.
You drive the bike right into
Oh,
the pool.
the bike.
I'm seeing the back wheel, and I'm like, no, he knows it, right? He knows it, right?
I didn't. And I put in my. I kept it going. I kept it
Yes,
moving. I kept it
did.
professional.
Show must go on.
So
It's
please.
hilarious. You just drive
Yeah.
right into the pool.
But that's a one take, Jake. We were running out of sunlight. I needed a video for social media because Beckett, God forbid, if we don't post on social media,
I know. I hate social
The world
media.
will not go on if we don't fucking post on social media.
Yeah.
That's the only thing anyone cares about anymore
I think
at
social
all.
media causes the most problems in relationships.
It's
yeah.
fucking
my-
bullshit.
In
My-
business, life,
Yeah, my smart guy
relationships.
friends, like the ones that are married especially, they just get rid. They just like burn the boats and just got rid of social media. You know?
Oh, you're
It's-
preaching to the choir.
You're
Dating,
see a
dating a
movement.
younger girl, I get shit if you don't repost something, and I'm like, well, I don't really think about it like that. Like, I don't, I kind of like to keep my private life. Like, I'll post something about a real estate thing or a dad joke or the podcast. Like, that's all.
Of course.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm not posting pictures at my nephew's baptism
No.
or like, no, that doesn't go on social
Of course
media.
not,
Hell
because
no.
you're not a fucking idiot.
Right?
I'm just, Vicky, I'm fucking.
Should we do a
so
ceremony?
annoyed with everything.
Should we do a ceremonial elimination of Vlad?
I want Vlad gone. Vlad fucking
Vlad
sucks.
has
He's gone.
caused nothing
The
but.
death of Vlad's happening tonight.
Oh, wow.
There has been change with Vlad.
Dude, when Vlad came into our life, no,
He's mutilated.
He's broken down. He's beaten up. Matches my body, Beckett.
It's a voodoo doll.
You're drunk, Vlad. Go home.
Kevin had his meltdown on the After the Show podcast, and I'm having mine now. We're doing whatever.
I like it.
Beckett, let's go ahead and turn the segment into your time.
Are we teching it with Beck in it?
We're taking it with Beck in it. I mean, come on now.
Might as well wreck it.
Oh, wrecking it with Beck in it.
So I'm going back to my roots. You know, we've been talking a lot about meta glasses, jaw exercises, AI, to Jaybird's chagrin. So I'm going to go back to the roots. So this is a mix of tech and sex, kind of like how this all kind of started.
That's a shocker.
Yeah. Right? Well, it all comes back to that. That's how we all got here. So I read an article in New York Times, and I found this interesting because in the era of data, right? Like, how many sleep apps are they putting out there? Like, how much REM sleep did you get?
Tons.
You know, what is your heart rate on your run or when you're playing tennis and all that? So, of course, it was inevitable. So now they have sex toys that help optimize your orgasm, which are called smart toys in a way, right?
You want the best. You want the best Beckett blast.
Well, you know.
I'm so sorry. That was so disgusting.
Well, this is one thing I think men get the short end of the stick, pun intended, on is the sex toys, right?
Yeah, we know you love puns.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's like no
I love
sex
double
toy.
entendres.
I know you do.
Yeah. So it's a data-driven. There's one that's out on the market now, not sponsored, but it's called Lioness. So what it does is, again, you know, there's debates on AI replacing or augmenting and making things better, right? So what Lioness is pitching is with someone in a relationship, a partnership, or for the person themselves, like you become a better runner or a better cyclist or whatever. It actually helps you learn how to have better orgasms, right? Like it takes in data, pelvic thrust, all of that.
You're uncomfortable, right, Vicky? Because I know I am.
Oh, no, I'm just waiting for my reply. No, I'm just waiting.
Well, you know, a dildo technically was the first selfie stick. So you can it pairs with Spotify to reveal musical taste, and it measures all different kinds of muscle contractions and everything. And I just found it really interesting, and I think it actually, you know, like we talk about with alcohol, it can be destructive, but if used in a good way, it could bring people together.
I agree, man. I fucking agree.
So I think if used the right way, things like, and it tests like you, whether you're on alcohol or CBD, how your orgasm is different and all this other stuff.
Slow it down, baby.
So if I was buying this product, basically what am I buying? Am I buying something that day to day tells me how to have better orgasms based on my lifestyle, or is it something that gives me awesome orgasms? And
so it does. So when you are pleasuring yourself or your partner, it relays data and metrics back, you know, via Bluetooth.
it goes on. Oh my gosh! It's just how much information do we want to give the robots?
Right. Well, you know, they haven't incorporated AI yet, but
For sure.
I think it's interesting, and listen, try anything once.
I think it's pretty cool. I just I don't know, Vicky. What are your thoughts on that?
Just pay attention and learn the natural way. Because
Yeah,
who
this
knows
is-
if they're going to get your algorithm correct? Who knows if this data is correct? And next thing you know, you are so far away from a real orgasm that you don't even can see it.
Is it tech orgasm?
Yeah.
There is a tech orgasm, and honestly, there are some people claiming that the tech orgasm can be better than the real orgasm, and that scares me.
right.
But again, like a syllabus, that's only 20% of the people. But with technology, you want this, Beckett?
Yeah.
Is that what you wanted? You want a little
All the sex
Hold
talk.
on, let me make sure we can hear this. Beckett wanted a shot.
Oh wow!
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, you know,
Go on about your orgasm.
Well, I'll give the analogy. So, you know, to Vicky's great point, you can just go out and run. You can just see how you feel, you know, and adjust how you run and whatever. Or you can have metrics and you can say, okay, like this is heart rate zone 2, and it can make you smarter for training and make you a better runner, potentially and arguably quicker. So, you know, I'm a pleaser. And
hold on now, again, slow it down.
And
baby.
if I can figure out a way with my wife, significant other, to be better, you know, because I like to pay attention and I'm an empath, but you know, if you can make yourself 10% better, That's a lot. Like
Oh,
we talked
it's
about the
huge.
meditation. It's huge.
Only need 1% better.
I mean, I when I discovered the tumbler, Vicky, the tumbler made my life 1% better. 1% better is a huge number.
Oh my gosh.
In the grand scheme of life, if you're able to find anything that can move the needle that much, the tumbler changed my life.
Yeah.
I love drinking things out of a fucking tumbler. I
Yeti,
love it.
I'm a Yeti guy. The Yeti tumbler.
Well, I mean, it's like kind of like a MySpace, Facebook, TikTok.
fair
It's all
enough.
it's all the fucking.
Whether
all the
it's
same.
beer, wine, tea, coffee, water, anything, it stays hot, stays cold.
It's
just
amazing
absolutely
technology.
Amazing technology.
It changed the game because thermoses were out for so long before that, and then Yeti comes out and just completely.
It was crazy because it was one of them Friday nights. We were going on vacation, and I was turning it out. I was going balls to the wall, just kind of partying up. And I had never done a tumbler before. I made a Mountain Dew, I think at 7 p.m. on
It was 7:03.
7 p.m. on a Friday night, and at 6:45 on Saturday evening, I forgot about this drink. Shit still tasted amazing.
So
it kept the flavor back.
When you buy it, it tells you to put ice cubes in it and leave it on the counter when you go to bed.
Couldn't believe it, Denny. I couldn't believe
It's
it.
crazy.
Wait, so put a bow on it. You guys have never used sex toys ever?
What do you mean? Like, I mean, I've hold on. Let's.
Jumping from keeping beverages cool.
You kind of
Sneak attack.
got through me for a little bit of
Like pivot.
what sex toy have you used, and we'll play that game. Yo, you've definitely fucked a fleshlight. We all know that. It's on your face.
The room is dark.
I think a lot of dudes in modern technology have probably dabbled in a fake pussy.
I think a lot of people, maybe not a lot, but people are even getting those sex dolls. Like that's just like such a commitment.
The doll is a little too aggressive for me.
Yeah.
Now it is.
Yeah, it takes
now
up too
it
much
is.
space.
Now it is. But
You get caught too easily.
if you are drunk one night and that doll is there,
Dude.
and you're lonely, you're putting that in the 1 and in the 2 hole. And I'd bet everything on that Denny's.
Oh,
With that said, it's time for a little bit of a
Denny's
Oh,
random
wow.
facts.
That's
That was
a
the best.
pivot.
That was the best segue we've ever had.
There's like 2 back-to-back insane pivots.
I'm getting whiplash.
Our sweet Denny's, he does a great job just finding really, really educational factoids that we love. We learn. Vicky, our educator, she grades them. She loves it. She gives it an A. She hates it. She gives him the F or the D. Denny's, the floor is yours.
All right, so I want to tell you guys about the Whale Hotel of 1899. It is a hotel in Australia that has, your spas, your pools. You can chill by the pool with some drinks, but you can also get a treatment for rheumatoid arthritis in the same place. And the way they do this is every time a whale dies near shore, they pull it onto shore and they cut it up, and they have their patients lay between the slices of whale for a 2-hour process. Allegedly, it relieves soreness, inflammation. It was a very popular treatment. It was discovered by a drunken man who was staggering home one night and then cut a whale open and climbed into it to sleep and then came out rejuvenated. So they opened it up the Whale Hotel.
Wow, Moby Dick.
Yeah.
You're lucky you're good looking, because if you were ugly, you'd come off creepy.
Moby Dick.
Vicky, what are your thoughts?
Wow. That one had lots of different layers. I guess.
Blubber is one of those layers.
Yes. I don't know. I guess that was his only choice. The guy that figured it out, that was his only choice. So that or freeze to death? That
Yeah.
he thought about cutting this open and laying in there? That's just weird.
It's
but
incredibly weird. He sliced it open to climb in it and fell asleep drunkenly. And then they investigated into it and they go, you know what, this actually works.
Don't you have a story of where you got a guy a job and
I got my
this
buddy.
is a funny story.
Well, so are you talking about my buddy who I
Yeah.
got to clean the boat?
Yes.
So one of my dad's friends was kind of like a wealthy dude, and he'd hire kids occasionally to do wealthy tasks for him, like stuff like clean his yacht and stuff. So I was doing a lot of those chores for a long time, and I had built a pretty good relationship with him. And I was trying to pass the torch to one of my other friends. He was looking for a job at the time, and I go, I'll throw in the good word for him. So I gave him the good word, and I saw him off. I brought him there, and I introduced him, and I go, oh, he's gonna take over my cleaning duties and stuff. And he's like, all right, cool. So I took off with my dad.
Hold on, I just want to make note because it is on camera. Beckett's texting during your story, and it's
I'm looking
pretty.
No, I'm looking up a movie.
Okay.
That is relative to his random fact.
Okay, very good answer, Beckett. Very good. Go on, Denny's.
Well, so
Jeez, who's the teacher now?
Oh no, I'm trying
He's
to.
gonna have to start giving the grades.
Oh yeah.
It's on after the podcast, just so you know.
Oh, we're gonna wrestle.
I like it. I'll give you a grade.
Go on.
Well, so me and my dad's friend run off for about 2 hours while my buddy Robert cleans this ship, and we were going to come back and check up on him, right? Well, we get back, and nothing's clean. His room, the quarters he sleeps in, are disheveled, and my friend is sleeping in the bed with a joint that's smoldering. He smoked and then passed out and took a nap in the guy's bed.
And he got him the job.
Oh my
So
God.
I come back, I go, bro, what are you doing? My boss, this guy I've been working for like 2 years. It's like, what is this? So embarrassing.
And wasn't he kind of really not that?
He goes, bro, that job sucked anyway, man.
Fuck that
I know. I was
guy.
like, oh my God, you've ruined all credibility I've been building for 2 years. Here.
That's such a tough game.
Oh my gosh, it was painful.
That's a flashback to St. Elmo's Fire when Rob Lowe gets the job. His friend gets him the job. Judd Nelson gets him the job. And then he throws this big, huge party and the boss comes back. Just a little 80s reference.
Oh
for
my
y'all.
gosh! If you are younger and you don't know St. Elmo's Fire, that's where the origination of the Brat Pack came
yeah.
up, Mr. Beckett, and that is a great movie.
Oh, totally.
Me and Denny's were talking about 80s movies today. They really cared about having at least, even if it was weird and creepy, at the end they try to tie it up
They
with
have
a
heart.
message.
Message. They threw a little heart in there.
Yeah.
No matter how there's always one part in an 80s movie that kind of makes you wince.
It makes your skin turn into lizard
So
skin.
it'll be like awesome movie, wincy part,
That's fucking weird.
then super heartfelt moment. And
Yes.
you're kind of back, and then everyone wins, and you're like, oh my God, it's a good movie. And then you forget about that wincy part until you bring it up to a friend later.
And then I feel like in the 90s, it started kind of getting dark.
And
And then in the 2000s, it became dark but commercial. And then now it's all about not offending anybody.
the 90s tried to get more realistic. I think the 80s got knocked a lot for unrealistic things happening, plot lines. I mean, there's some like how to succeed in business without really trying.
80s had some questionable behavior in some of their movies.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely, that's what I'm saying. Those wincy parts are you just go, okay.
This is a great movie. It was a hour and 43 minutes. Why would you not take out this 3-minute scene that adds nothing and it's kind of weird and creepy?
Well, they were saying that sex scenes in movies are down 40%. That they don't ever put those in movies anymore.
I love sex. I love movies. I fucking hate sex scenes. I think
hate
they're
'em.
just
they're so outdated.
for a storyline. If I want
It
to
was
watch,
important in Basic Instinct.
well, if I want to
So
watch,
if it makes
again,
sense,
you're right.
it was important.
If it's
on the
important
movie.
for the plot, sure, but if it's just gratuitous, it's like, all right, come on. I think back then though, there was no internet, there was no stuff.
Just like Jaws ruined surfing for me, Basic Instinct ruined being tied up for me. Never.
Oh damn.
Never.
Beckett, we all know you want to get tied up.
No, not after Basic Instinct. You didn't get an ice pick right in the neck.
Vicky, let me ask you a question. If Beckett was at Coachella, okay,
you know he would get it.
and there was this hot girl, I mean, in Beckett's eyes, 15 out of 10. She's from Rio. She's got it checks all the boxes of exotic. Just not some basic girl from, I don't know, Lake Park. No offense.
Russ
Motherfucker.
Market.
Exactly. And Beckett ain't having sex with Russ Market people. I'm just
You know,
kidding.
I would definitely leave a finger in there that you can get out of the tie on your wrist or something. You know, you can't get fully tied up.
Vicky, I didn't think my intro could go worse than what I did, but then Beckett followed it up with an even worse, I don't know, comment. Please take over.
Well, first of all, he would have his own handcuffs or whatever he's going to use to tie up. So don't think that he doesn't have them already in his car. That's
Exactly.
number one.
I know the way out.
He's like, I'm
Number
so unprepared.
two.
I know the way out.
Number two, you wouldn't, because you would like the thrill of not knowing if you really could, because we've established that you really and truly aren't quite as a scaredy cat as you claim to be, because you're delving into stuff. I'm sorry, you're going full Monty with this. You are in 1,000% with your own devices, though.
A billion percent agree,
My own
Vicky.
devices, for
if,
sure.
if there was a hot girl and
Smart
he,
devices.
Please.
If
He
it-
would be the one to suggest it. He
1,000%.
wouldn't have to be talked into it. He would
Yeah.
suggest it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And
You're not fooling the psychic, okay?
if you weren't good looking, you creepy as fuck,
Yeah.
dog.
That's what I was saying about 50 Shades of Grey. If that guy was broke, everyone would be like crying
Oh,
all
he'd be
kinds
a
of fouls and
crazy-
yeah, exactly, crazy person. If he wasn't picking up girls bachelor style in a helicopter, they'd be like, "Oh, this guy is a masochist."
Well, Virginia always says, well, it's sexual harassment unless he's cute.
Right, exactly.
Which is, it gets people so
Oh,
fired up.
that's when I start getting calls.
Virginia did a YouTube video today, and it is basically just pretty much calling
It's sassy.
people just to fucking hate.
And then she goes, send all complaints to Kevin.
She's driving, doing a video as she's driving, and you can see that she's driving. And then she ends the video with, "Oh, and by the way, if you don't like that I'm driving, send all the complaints to Kevin Ralston, blah, 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 blah."
Yeah,
God.
that's amazing.
Well, what I was going to say, what I was looking up, I think maybe we've talked about it. It was one of the most disturbing movies ever, and your random fact made me think about it. My friend presented it as one of the best movies he's seen.
All right, random.
Tusk.
Oh, yes. My
That
wife
movie
loves that movie.
Freaked
Dude,
me
it freaked
out.
Bird out.
It was so disturbing.
It's incredibly disturbing.
It was weird, Vicky.
Oh, so weird. So IMDb,
The premise, real quick,
in a
is-
nutshell, is
Yeah.
savage, twisted, and shocking.
Yeah.
Which I think is a great
So if
description.
you don't mind, Denny's, please give her a movie review.
So the premise in a nutshell is a podcaster hears about this guy who has an interesting story, and he goes to get the story, but the guy ends up not being able to do the story. So he sees an interesting line about a guy who wants a companion. So he goes to talk to him just to get a story while he was out on this trip, and that guy kidnaps him and then transforms him into a walrus.
Yeah.
The same walrus that saved him one time when he was stranded out into the ocean.
Yep.
And he has a fascination with finding that friendship again with that same compadre.
Oh my gosh, he literally
It's pretty horrifying.
like skin grafts him.
it's
and puts
odd.
It's odd, and then his friends come looking for him, and he's a walrus. Like
My wife's in the chat. That's one of her favorite movies. That's in her top 10.
It was so disturbing.
I kind of feel like Jen, your wife, is the one that suggested.
She wanted you to
yes,
watch that.
She
She
did.
knew that would sit with
and
you.
I'm not gonna lie, it sat with me. It's a weird movie, man.
The
It's a
The part
it's a
it
weird
zooms in on him when after the transformation is pretty horrific.
And
Yeah,
there's
you
a
see his
heart,
eyes.
there's a heartache part where the girlfriend doesn't want him anymore.
Well, yeah, because he's a walrus.
It's Vicky. You need to watch it.
I don't think I can after that review.
I kind of feel like, oh my gosh, this tastes terrible. Becca, taste this.
Yeah,
it's kind of
exactly.
like one of those situations.
Yeah.
Dennis, keep going, baby.
All right, let's see. Did I get a grade? Do I need a grade?
Well, look at how much conversation it sparks. So I,
I think
gotta
we
go
also
with an A.
kind of jumped over.
But
Yeah.
around a little
when
bit
when
there.
you do a factoid and it makes a 15-minute tangent,
That's
that's
an A.
that's an A,
That's an A.
man. That's an A. I love tangents.
All right, not to keep it on the medical tip, it was just kind of on the same website, and I thought it was awesome. And I've talked about these procedures before. I just love old medicine. It's just the greatest. Part of the 19th century medicine that was trial and error, and I've brought up mercury before being used in medicine, but this practice was called mercury rubs. It was a medical treatment where mercury was rubbed into the skin in various ailed areas. So if you were hurting like a broken arm, they would rub the mercury on that area. If you had syphilis, they would do what they called mercury urethral or vaginal douches,
Urethral Franklin.
where they would douche you with mercury. It tended to cause all sorts of issues. People would start salivating uncontrollably and shaking, but they thought at the time that was it taking effect and working. So they go, that's good. That's good. That's what we want.
Right.
It's crazy.
That's why I kind of feel like when anybody says anything, this is a factoid. As a human, you go, well, okay, I'm going to hear your theory out, But I'm also going to question your theory because humans are dumb.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow.
Pretty rough.
It is
Vicky,
Yeah.
thoughts on a
Because
grade?
we all know from the start of our time that mercury's poisonous.
Yeah.
That's gonna,
Yeah.
or that's gonna kill you.
You can't. Well, I mean, obviously, we all want to chew on the thermometer
You're right.
and break it, and
Yeah.
eat it.
Yeah, I'll go with an A.
Nice. Look up the mercury rubs if you want to read about it. They show pictures and stuff.
A
and
for
Don't-
anal temperature.
And
rectal.
don't look now, but someone's on board for the honor roll. over
Dean's
here.
list at
The
least.
Don't
Dean's
jinx
list.
Damn.
He's got to know. He's got to know.
Okay.
That's part of being on the honor roll. The pressure.
Don't
started-
motivate
I-
me to go down.
Oh, she wants
That's
it.
what she said.
Vicky wants to destroy you right now. You got to bring that heat. You got to bring that heat.
You're on a 3-2 count.
Oh yeah.
I know, that puts a lot of pressure. That puts a lot of pressure. So I guess I'll go with this one.
And
Just
this
kinda
will be
has
your
a
last one. I won't put any more trauma on you.
Well, so I'll do this one as my last one, but I'm gonna throw one extra Star Wars one just because it's May the 4th
for extra
coming
credit?
up here.
For
on
extra
Boys,
credit?
my boy.
It's not a super fact. It's just kind of cool. A little Boba Fett action. Let's see. But before that, and maybe you guys have heard of this guy, and this kind of just ties into what we do on this show. Anywho, in 1969, a musician named Jim Sullivan recorded an album called UFO, which featured strange lyrics about leaving his family and being abducted by aliens. 6 years later, he disappeared without a trace. They did an extensive search because he was a mild celebrity at the time. He was in the movie Easy Rider as one of the hippies, and he had relationships with a lot of celebrities in the area. They all looked for him and couldn't find him. In the area, they also found a decomposing body that they did extensive research on, and it wasn't his. He just completely disappeared without a trace. They suspect either mafia or alien abduction.
Whoa.
So I got a track by him. We can kind of check out what he's got. I
Dennis,
don't think he's
we
going to come
need
after us for royalties.
No, let's do it.
So let's see. This guy, Smash or Trash.
Called you by the name of Rosie. Face a shiny, bright, sunbursting smile. Pocket full of diamonds for you, Rosie. You just stay here with me for a while.
I don't know why it's funny to me.
Because it's funny.
Just one more time.
I mean, it doesn't sound old.
Not at all.
I don't know. So what do you think about the musical works of one Jim Sullivan? You think the aliens abducted him for good
Jim
reason?
Sullivan. It's amazing. I loved it, Denny's.
I mean, it just leaves a big question mark and a big mystery. So I'm sorry, I got to cut you down on that. It's down to a B.
Wow.
We have to leave it up to speculation. Was it mafia or aliens?
Yeah, I don't like that many questions in my life. So
Bottom line is this: Jim Sullivan fucked you from getting on the honor
Oh,
roll.
dude.
But he's got extra credit coming.
Yeah, hopefully we grade on a curve here.
Oh, you know what? You have one more factoid.
Yeah,
You're
so
right,
this
you're
one's
right,
just
you're
a fun one because Star Wars is coming up. And I didn't know this, and we've talked about this before because it's pretty infamous, the Star Wars holiday special. Funny.
Oh, yeah.
So in the recent edits of Star Wars, they've added Boba Fett to the earlier, the A New Hope. He wasn't originally in that. His first appearance was not Empire Strikes Back. It was actually the Star Wars holiday special, and he's a good guy. He's partying with the Star Wars people, Princess Leia, Luke Skywalker.
And to piggyback on that, they had a special figure come out, and he had a booster, like a rocket,
The rocket on his
that would
backpack.
shoot, and it was ready to go out to all of these kids here in America. And another company had a toy where a kid choked on and they said,
recalled him?
fuck Boba Fett. We cannot have any kind of launching. And it really kind of cut down the production of the Boba Fett. And there's, I think, a few Boba Fetts out there that eject.
They probably are worth so much.
$1 trillion, Beckett.
That's so funny. That's kind of like the Spider-Man movie. They had shot Spider-Man. They were about to release it, and then 9/11 happened.
Yeah.
And they had the shots of the buildings, so they completely re-edited and changed the ending of that.
And they added lines in, you don't mess with New Yorkers. Nobody messes with New Yorkers. Just to kind of get...
They were about to
was a-
launch it, and Sony
Yeah.
goes, no. He goes, let's revamp this image real quick. And they adjusted the video game, the movie, everything because of something that they didn't have anything to do with.
There's an artist named Ryan Adams, and he, I think, like 3 days before the 9/11 attacks, did a whole video called New York, New York, or maybe it's called just New York. And it's him singing a lot of it in front of the Twin Towers. And literally 3 days later, they're gone. And they go, do we release it? Do we not release it? What do we do? It was kind of a situation.
Yeah. It's just crazy. Little things like that can throw off everything. But yeah, just a fun Star Wars facts for everybody. Boba Fett's not first appearance is not Empire Strikes Back.
I love it.
I like how he's a good guy, too, because they didn't actually write him as a character yet.
Boba Fett was... For the people who hate Star Wars, and by the
sure.
way, I'm a motherfucker now who hates Star Wars.
Really?
I don't. I like the original 3. I can take the prequels. They're fine. I accept them.
But you're prejudging. You haven't seen the new one.
I don't need to see it. I've seen it. They lost me. They're not trying to go after me anymore. They don't want.
What if you hear it's great?
I
would
like.
have to probably see an overwhelming amount of.
We should go to
evidence.
IMAX and see it.
I would love to. I'd love to do a watch party with you, Beckett.
Let's do it. I'll take us on the Brightline. We'll go down. We'll go to Fort Lauderdale IMAX.
I
We'll
like
do the whole
IMAX.
thing. We'll dress up.
The thing that sucks about the whole Star Wars thing, and I kind of feel like just with social media today, if you give an opinion about something, you're automatically labeled as either old or you're
Oh,
you,
but that's
you don't
always
like
been the case.
women. No, I love women, and I am old, but I also can think young. I don't like shitty storylines. I
Yeah.
don't like things that I don't like things that portray what the fandom is.
The foundational stuff.
So I agree with you. It's got to have I love good writing. Like Aaron Sorkin's one of my favorite screenwriters of all time, and he's got very cerebral. He's the one that did the screenplay of Social Network, Newsroom, West Wing.
Gotcha.
He's great. He's phenomenal. And you've seen it. There's I think maybe off the top of my head the best example, Jurassic Park.
All right.
Some Jurassic Parks are like. They have a great budget. They have a good cast.
It's good.
And it just tanks.
Yeah, I know.
It's horrible because the storyline. You can't just
Exactly.
get away with a bunch of dinosaurs eating people with great special effects.
Ugh.
Like you have to have good storylines. Like whether you're selling a product or a company or yourself or pitching a movie or a show, it's gotta have story. It's gotta have story.
And I understand that there's a big part of our audience that hates Star Wars and hates all that shit. But to Beckett's point, Vicky, there is something to be said about hijacking a fandom. And I think you need to stay somewhat true to that.
Otherwise, you lose the initial people.
Look at Porsche. Like that's a weird example, but it's apropos. If they went away from the look, from what it was, they would lose.
Oh, you
the
lose that
entire
'cause
thing.
they can't ever. They kind of get locked themselves into that body style.
Well, they can do other iterations
For sure,
of
which
it,
they
right?
do.
And sure, Star Wars could do spin-offs and whatever, but if you're gonna, to Jaybird's point, if you're gonna latch on to a fan group, right? That's a value of it, right? That's a bulge in the garden hose. No business person wants to start off with new customers. That's the whole value of the franchise.
You're trying to buy them because they already have an existing base.
Right, you got to dovetail it in. You got to continue the story.
Well, Disney, they do movies and they also do Star Wars series. And there's a new series coming out. And there's a big preview and a trailer out now. And I watch it and I go, I don't want to fucking watch this.
I'll give you two examples in my humble opinion of what not to do and what to do.
All right.
Coming to America, horrible second movie.
Terrible.
It's one of the
Terrible.
Things, the first one was so popular, people are like, one of those movies, don't redo it. Don't ruin it. Don't do a second
I'm
one.
with you.
Whatever.
I love the first one.
I gave such a harsh
They had a
review
great cast.
for the second one. I could not believe people were clapping back
Terrible.
at me. The fact that people were clapping back at me on Coming America 2, which I love Coming to America.
Oh, the
Coming
first
to
one's awesome.
America 2 is to me like season 8 and 9 of The Office.
Yep.
People who did understand that world wrote that, and they said, "Here's Coming to America too," and it was shit.
It's like they got lazy with the writing, and you know, they had a great cast, they had a great budget. It was just their writing was horrible. Now, my positive example that I thought was a very, very, very tough thing to do, because the movie number 1 is arguably one of my favorite movies all time, is Top Gun 2.
Mm-hmm.
Top Gun 2, they spent a great amount of money in the writing and the story. They tied in the old with the new. He flew the F-14 at the end. You didn't think the old plane was going to come in the end. They tied in Goose. They brought it back with a arbitrary scene with the admiral's daughter, which was the girl that owned the bar. In my opinion, they hit it out of the park for the new audience and the old audience.
I watched that movie, and I go the whole time I was watching that movie, I go, Denny's would fucking hate this movie.
Yeah, but did you like the first one?
So the first one I don't love like a lot of people do.
Yeah.
It's a little goofy for me.
What do you mean? Why is Top Gun goofy?
Yeah, I mean there's a lot of insane. Again, that would be what I would say is an 80s premise, which is a little over the top. But
it was a real life premise. It was in the midst of the Cold War.
For sure, but I mean
Russia.
For sure, but I mean that movie is sensationalized
Dude,
across the board.
Top Gun is a real thing.
For sure, I understand the
Yeah,
concept.
we know Top Gun's a real thing. But what we're saying is like the locker room scene where Tom
The
Cruise
volleyball scene.
and
It's a
Val.
great scene.
It's great because it's terrible, Beckett. When he goes, "Yeah, that's right, Iceman. I am dangerous." That's awful writing and acting, and it's so cringy, and that's why me and Denny's love that part.
That's great.
It's not because it's good.
I think it's great.
But that's what I'm saying. When you hit the 90s movies, they started trying to be a little more gritty, realistic, more...
90s is an underrated decade.
It is, but 90s still had some really hokey stuff in it, too. They were still figuring it out.
When I go back and I look at the humor, I'm like, geez, we were at that tipping point, because we always talk about the pendulum swings too far either direction. We were in that bad sweet spot in the 90s of jokes and humor and not getting offended and everything, in my humble opinion.
I do want to get a Vicky opinion here, because as you are blowing Tom Cruise in Top Gun 1 and 2,
I have the need for speed.
she is leading the league in eye rolls. So, Vicky, the floor is yours.
Well, just in general, you talked about Coming to America and the sequel and stuff like that. So if there's a movie that I am really, really into, I'm probably not going to watch the sequel until I've seen all the reviews and I have personal recommendations and stuff like that. So I'm not, the only example that I can come up with for me that was better than the original was Godfather 2.
Oh, I agree.
That to me is much better. 2 is better than 1. But think about it. Almost any sequel is not.
Alien.
Rarely.
Alien 2.
It's the oddity.
For sure.
Alien 2 might have been my favorite out of all of the Alien franchises.
I would agree. They're
But that's
different
an
movies.
exception to the
Yeah.
rule.
I
mean,
would say
look at all the-
Godfather, I'd agree as well.
I would go Superman 2 is better than Superman from the 80s. I would also go Empire Strikes Back is better than Star Wars. I know it's crazy.
Yeah, Empire Strikes Back. I
But
would
again,
say.
it's like music. It comes down to preference, and what I like, you may not like, and no one's right about it. But the one thing I do know for a fact, and Denny's will back me up, he hates Tom Cruise as Maverick.
Well, they don't have a Wizard of Oz play, but they do have a Wicked play, right?
Yeah.
That's basically the sequel.
But
it's a
you're-
It's a
parallel
backstory.
story.
It's a backstory of the witch.
Parallel story. I don't know if it's canon.
Someone sound like a politician, kind of on the ropes a little bit right now. Wizard of Oz is amazing.
I'm standing by Top Gun 2.
No, everybody loved it.
I love it.
And
So
I
I mean, for what it was designed to do, I think it did that.
Name one bad movie Tom Cruise is in.
So I
can.
love Tom Cruise
What?
movies.
but with that said,
Most of them are amazing.
most of them are amazing. I don't care what you could hate Tom Cruise
Yeah.
as much as you
Agreed.
want,
Yeah.
and I agree. He's a fucking goofball.
Yeah, goofball.
With that said, that motherfucker knows how to pick a movie
Oh, yeah.
in the 90%.
Yeah.
No one's perfect. No one bats
If
1,000.
you're gonna bet money, bet on him.
But for the most part, I'll even give you 85% for
He's
the
got a
haters.
great resume.
You more than likely to me, Jerry Maguire is one of the best fucking. I
it's great.
love Jerry Maguire. I think it is acting. It's well written. It's just a good movie.
Yeah.
And you never hear anyone talk about that.
That's a great movie.
It's such a great movie.
Great movie.
I think after the whole Tom Cruise thing, Hollywood kind of backed away from him.
You can't jump on a couch. You can't act like a crazy person. You gotta tuck in your crazy.
He's got Spielberg, but everyone else is kind of.
The one movie he acted as the bad guy, I thought he knocked it out of the park. It's Collateral.
Oh,
With
I
Jamie
love
Foxx.
it.
awesome.
We,
Knocked
It's
it
one of the
out
best.
of the park.
we've been talking about it all week. I think it's such a great movie. The
Top
one
tier.
movie I think that sucks such donkey balls. I thought War of the Worlds with Steven Spielberg was such a shit bag of a movie.
Yeah.
It's almost kind of like they go, we're running out of time. Let's just make an ending. He wasn't believable as a father. I fucking hate that movie. I hate it.
I thought it was
That's
long
the shit.
and
That's
boring.
that's the shitty movie.
But he's got such a high bar. So World of Worlds wasn't the worst movie, but you're grading on a curve. for
yeah,
him.
that movie
It's
sucks.
just such an action movie. It's not my thing.
It didn't even make any sense. That movie does not make any sense.
I think Leonardo DiCaprio, the one he won the Oscar for, the Revenants movie, in my humble opinion, was the worst movie I've seen that he's made.
Vicky,
I
you're
didn't
here.
even see it.
You're even thought you're hearing tales of Leo.
No, I'm sitting here
Bears.
thinking about how old I am because I actually saw Risky Business when it came out at the theater. That's how
great movie.
old I am.
Cocktail.
So no,
And when
Yeah, I
Star
love
Wars
both
came
those.
out, 3 guesses which movie I was in. Star Wars came out at the same time that the Amityville Horror came out.
Ah.
Which theater do you think I was sitting in?
I mean,
Hollywood.
we know.
I
We
was
know.
sitting right there at
You were-
Amityville Horror.
you were watching Rocky III.
I didn't see Star Wars for years after that.
I get it.
For
There's
sure,
a
I
lot.
get it,
There's a
too.
lot of people who fucking
You'll
hate
be
that.
proud of me when I went through the Star Wars. I did it all chronological. I did it. The
Oh,
right
you
way.
started from
Oh,
1,
100%.
2, and 3. What was that experience like?
No. I didn't go 4, 5, 6.
Oh, so you went in the actual order they were
I
released.
went
All
the
right,
way.
that's how I did it.
I went the way to Jay Bird's point that the fandom experience.
Yeah, all right,
did.
cool. That's how I did it as well.
That, in my humble opinion, that's the right way to do it. If anyone hasn't since, wouldn't you agree? The right way to see Star Wars is the way everyone else started.
Well, because then
out
it
with
looks like 2000s, and then it looks like 1970s. It just is.
It's a good way to do it.
It kind of looks weird.
It looked, man. I get it. It's just not my cup of soda anymore, and I understand that. My opinion doesn't mean diddly shit for some people. I just know when I watch Star Wars now, it looks like something that would be on the CW. It just looks like a fucking shitty.
Kinda changed
Buffy the vampire.
They could surprise you on this one. Now they have AI.
Well, so
That makes me.
Just kidding.
he's
I'm just kidding. I'm just picking up the
You're
scab.
not helping your
I'm
case.
just picking up the scab. I'm sorry.
he loves it.
Don't
Gotta
make
get
me.
flat on the ass.
Don't make me throw flat again. No, I'm sure that's great. Great energy to throw a possessed doll off the fucking wall.
We should do a video of us burning that.
Vicky, I want him dead. How do we kill
shouldn't burn
Vicky?
Why not burn?
Oh my God! I just said how do we kill Vicky? I meant to say how do we kill Vlad? I'm so sorry.
Oh, is that thing
There's
taken
many
over?
ways to kill me, but yeah.
How do we
Taken
kill
over.
Vlad in the right way? If
No,
someone
you need-
if
you-
somebody has something that they feel is negative,
You
how
need
do
to
we-
get rid of it, but you need to get rid of it in a way so that you don't want to. If for some reason he does have something negative attached, you don't want to burn it because that just releases that into the atmosphere.
Oh.
You need to take him
That's not
and
responsible.
dispose of him so that nobody else will get him.
Can we chain him and then drop him in like a lake?
Well, I mean, you could dispose of him so he ends up in the landfill as long as somebody's not going to pull him out. So I would
I'm
put
too
him.
afid a kid's gonna be walking
No,
through there
But
and pick him
Vicky,
up.
But if you wrap him in something and put him in a container that's not, shove him in a Jameson bottle or something. I don't know.
So I believe in I'm open to a lot of shit. I think sometimes people get it twisted because I get so excited. I'm open to a lot of shit. It's tough for me to think Vlad has got all that power. I'm kind of making some jokes over here, kind of for Denny's and kind of like a symbolism of resetting. But do I really feel like Vlad is controlling shit? I really don't.
No.
I just don't.
And I never got anything off of him at all,
Yeah.
like any kind of energy or anything like that. But if you really think it's a possibility, then wrap him up in something and he goes in the landfill.
It's more of just a I don't
funny.
know.
It's funny to blame.
Well,
things
there's
on
not much
Vlad.
left of him if you keep
Yeah,
knocking him around.
We've had a week. So sometimes, sometimes you walk in here and go, I've had a week. We had a week. And sometimes you just want to burn a doll.
I like it.
Denny's, great job on your factoids. That was
thank you.
amazing, as always. Let's see what else we got here. Is AI going to kill us? So I asked AI.
Hey,
I
AI.
go, AI. I'm not even kidding. I go, AI, what is going to kill humanity, in your opinion? In your honest, humble, I was very polite when I asked AI this. And everything,
Please, AI.
it was global warming and nuclear war. And then it literally ended its paragraph with, and artificial intelligence. These motherfuckers are telling us they're going to kill us.
Yeah.
I mean, good God.
And then we're going to go, we never saw it coming.
I can't believe it. Oh my gosh, TikTok's great. Beckett, thoughts? Denny's, Vicky? AI?
You know that I'm on the anti-AI thing, so
It's tough, man. I'm trying not to be a dinosaur, and I'm trying not to act like I don't want to change. But I do think AI is a bit of a dick punch, Beckett.
Do you think people...
I think that there maybe should be, I don't know if it's United Nations or whatever, there should be just an off switch, right? Because you can have electromagnetic bombs,
EMP.
right? That just takes everything down. And I think that every once in a while, humanity needs to know and needs to experience some moments of just silence. And listen, we can keep all the basic stuff online for emergency services and things like that. But when we had these cell phone outages with like AT&T and whatever, some places at 911, it went down. It went down. And in the military, they have redundant systems, right? So if this breaks, this backs up. And if that backup breaks, this. Because when you're in war, you're in war.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And, it made me think about, shit, maybe I need a hard landline. Just in case, especially if I had a wife and kids. Like, I'd totally rethink the whole situation. And I think that sometimes you need to be able to unplug the machines, right? It's a very important, visceral exercise and experience. And, we have holidays, we have different things. I think it's an important thing to have a master circuit breaker that says, hey, for these 2 days, this weekend, once a year, we're just going to turn it all off, right? I mean, people survive for a millenni without it, right? And then people were like, hey, yeah, if a foreign adversary bombs us and we don't have our cell phones, like, we need to know how to communicate to emergency services. We know how, it's a good exercise.
Vicky, your thoughts on people who say the word millenni? I'm just being. I'm in a very trolly, dicky mood, and I apologize, Beckett. That was,
like it.
That was great stuff.
But if there was
I think it's
one of
very
those,
apropos.
it would screw everyone.
I don't know, man. I believe in my team, and when I say team, I mean. I used to believe in my team, humans. I feel like humans are kind of going towards, let's watch robots do a bunch of shit for us.
Oh, it's just, you're giving them the power, and then you're going to feel bad when you don't have it anymore.
But shut the fuck up, Bird. You're a dinosaur.
Vlad.
You Vlad.
Aren't you Vlad I can?
Real quick, a little quick quiz for all y'all playing at home. A little
All right.
cryptozoology quiz.
Are we playing too, or only the
I
people
like
at
crypto.
home?
You all are playing.
All right, excellent.
Vicky, tell me who is the face, the mascot of, when it comes to cryptozoology for each state here. That's kind of what we're doing. For Florida, who is the face of that?
what do you mean? Which crypto it is?
So when you think of Florida, which one? I think I know which one.
I would think of the skunk ape.
Okay, Becky, what's your
Florida Panther.
Florida Panther? You need to get out of my house right now.
The Florida Panther.
The Florida fucking Panther? I said cryptozoology. The Panther's real. Sort of.
I don't know what a cryptozoology is.
So I would say it'd be like Sasquatch, Loch Ness Monster.
Oh.
Yeah, mermaid,
Something that exists that hasn't been documented.
Dinosaur Dave, who's been known to roam in Denver.
Dinosaur. What?
Come back.
I did make that.
Come back to me because I'm trying to think of one in Florida.
Beck and I apologize. We will edit this part out.
No, keep it in. Keep it in.
Jeopardy question.
I mean, to y'all's point, Vicky and Denny's did nail. It's the skunk ape.
Skunk ape, definitely.
We gotta get you.
I don't know what a skunk ape is.
It's a small version of Bigfoot, and they stinky. That's why he's called.
So not to ruin.
Does it have a French accent?
No.
Is that a thing I gotta fucking defend now, Beckett? Where you put me?
Pepe Le Pew?
When you put me in a position where I don't know if you're being offensive or not, because we're trying to be offensive
No,
here.
it's Pepe Le Pew.
We
Le
love
Pew.
France and we love the French.
So Pepe Le Pew is getting canceled, right?
Freedom fries.
Well, because he should, because I think he kind of was
He's super non-consensual.
Oh, Vicky,
Yeah.
let me see your titties.
It's a little aggressive. Yeah.
He's extraordinarily aggressive.
He's a little handsy, as they say in the business.
But is Virginia safe? He's good looking. Hey.
Yeah, hey.
Pepe Le Pew's a good-looking skunk.
I would put him in the better looking skunk category.
Yeah, he's a good-looking skunk, and you always get points for the accent.
He could get away with a lot, but he would still get brought down for some, for sure.
Vicky needs more credit for her fucking comment right there. That's
Yeah,
funny
it is.
shit.
It's good stuff.
All right, Mr. Denny's acting all fucking smart with his facts.
All right.
Texas. What's their
What's the
mascot of their
mascot of-
cryptozoology?
Anytime I think South, I always think chupacabra, but I would say, wouldn't that be South America?
What-
Texas.
Speedy Gonzalez?
Again, I think you're saying shit that I don't. Is he being offended? Is he being offended? Because if he is, I want to make a blanket apology. I apologize. Whatever the fuck Beckett say.
Ándale, arriba.
Yeah, I
Yeah, no,
remember
you can't
him.
do it, Beckett. Those days are over.
It's a chupacabra. What else would be in Texas? The Serpent Man? No.
Serpent Man?
I don't know. I'm guessing.
All right, this bit's not good.
All right,
It's
yeah,
kind of like
I'm saying
This is
chupacabra.
kind of going like the insurance bit. yesterday.
The Dirt Devil.
The insurance bit.
The
yesterday.
Dirt Devil?
And people writing in
Like
about
the
the
Dustbuster?
insurance bit.
Hold on.
Tasmanian
Let me
I'm
get
asking AI.
let me get the show back on track. Denny's,
Chupacabra.
chupacabra. Final answer, Vicky.
I would go chupacabra.
Chupacabra is number one per AI.
I am a pacifist, and I want to fight Beckett live on the fucking podcast.
And I apologize.
Put your phone down.
How long that
Put
answer
the phone
took.
down.
Oh, there's a Lake Worth monster, also known
Yes.
as goat.
Oh, thank you for ruining my bit, Beckett. Cool. That was
I was
my-
adding to it. No one was
no,
coming
it's
up with
great.
anything.
Here, cross out Lake Worth on your
Hey,
next
Vicky,
question.
Lake Worth. What's the answer for Lake Worth, Vicky?
Start with Beckett on this next one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Start with him, and his phone stays on the table.
He loves AI too much.
I don't know. Honestly, I'll just throw myself on the table. I don't know cryptozoology for
No shit.
any state.
No.
You have
shit.
to know some.
What about West Virginia?
I think it would be Bigfoot.
No, it's incest.
Well, good thing you gave a blanket apology.
It covers everyone.
It's all relative in West Virginia.
Okay, let's go ahead. We went. Did we go an hour?
Yeah.
The good people an hour at least.
We've jumped that threshold.
Okay,
Yes.
good. Now my favorite. This really is a something that makes my heart soar, my spirit sing. It's trying to highlight local artists, musicians, people that write their own shit. We talk about AI, and I get it, man. I understand we're going towards that world. But with that said, I really believe now is a pivotal point. Humans versus robots, Vicky. And if you can play, you can stay in my eyes.
I agree.
And
Listen, as much as I love AI, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I love artists, creativity. I don't mind, the editing software on the Apple Mac and stuff like that, but someone comes up with something soup to nuts, there's nothing more special than that.
I mean, soup to nuts, Denny's.
I've never understood that phrase.
Don't
Soup
ask that
to
question.
nuts.
Don't. I'm trying to wrap
I'll ask AI.
Virginia said it once. Like, what the heck's that mean?
Denny's, I'm going to let you intro the local artist this week and give it a real nice Casey Kasem kind of a
Casey
delivery. Nobody over the age of or under the age of 50 knows what the fuck I'm talking about.
I do. I love Casey Kasem.
You're right. Under the age of 40.
All right. Well, so I'm going to introduce this artist in a regular fashion.
And make it real nice.
All right. So we got our local featured artist, Nolan Sotillo, with Strangers Again. And I heard a little bit of this track because I grabbed the audio for these. I'm pretty excited for this one.
And please, I am not discriminating at all. The reason why you don't hear other music is because people just aren't sending it to me. I want to play all kinds of music. It's really not about what I like. I really do want to feature people that are grinding, writing shit, and that need to have a little spotlight in their fucking life.
Where do they send it to?
Jason KVJ on my Instagram. You can
Love
send
it.
it to Jason Pennington KVJ on my Gmail. You can send it to my Facebook. There's many ways to murder me and get me your song.
Unalive. I just learned that term. That shows
Unalive?
Unalive someone.
Yeah.
I thought it was because people were getting soft. It's not. It's because unalive means you're getting more money on YouTube. Everyone's a
It's
fucking...
just you won't get
it-
demonetized.
It's a keyword.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a
It's-
lot of those keywords.
Everyone's dying on a holy hill, but are they? That holy hill's covered in money.
We're really the same.
All right, so with all of that, we're going to play Nolan Sotillo's Strangers Again.
We love you all, man.
Bigfoot is real.
Margarita, lime, no salt. Seen that sun just on and off. I can trace your body from memory like the back of my hand. Don't mean I want to, even though I can. Don't wanna start over or talk about taking chances. Don't wanna be friends acting like none of this ever happened. Don't wanna be thinking about drinking about what might have been. I just wanna turn us back in to strangers again. No hangovers, no regrets, no forgetting time we spent. Wouldn't be a heartbreaking old flame going all up in smoke. Just being nobody that I never got to know. Don't wanna start over or talk about taking chances. Don't wanna be friends acting like none of this ever happened. Don't wanna be thinking about drinking about what might have been. I just wanna turn us back in to strangers again. Yeah, how to change the bar that I walked into that night. I left my ID at home. Swear I would've started a fight, 'cause I would've been happier handcuffed in the back of a cop car. Just to not know who you are. I don't wanna start over. I don't wanna be friends. I don't wanna be drinking